Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. Good morning, it's 7:30 on Sunday the 8th of November. Just making my way down to the land. As you can see, it's foggy again this morning, and just to add to the pain, it's also raining. So, not quite sure what we'll get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. Another foggy day. It's not quite as thick as it was yesterday morning, but then it's raining, so it just goes from bad to worse. You can actually see the polytunnel and vaguely see the cabin there, so we'll get ourselves in there. And got to mention these mushrooms because they're getting huge. The size of that. It's the size of my hand. It's huge. Once I get reading that book of mine that I've just got, hopefully I'll be able to know which ones you can and can't eat, because the amount that's on there, that's quite a few meals. Not quite sure what we're going to get done today with this weather. The idea was to get some featherwood in onto the side of the cabin, but that means being outside in this rain. We'll see how we get on anyway. What I really would like is to get some more wood down, and if I can't get it finished today, at least it'll be pretty much watertight. There's only that one big side that's not, but I'm just a bit nervous of filling in all of the other sides and then getting the wind trapped inside. A bit nervous about that. Everything's pretty much as it was yesterday. Is it standing? Of course it is, because I checked on the cameras last night. So it is still there. Everything's as it was yesterday. A bit of tidying up to be done as well. Don't like to see rubbish strewn about on the field. So I'll get myself in, opened up. The owl's missing. I'll have to find somewhere else to put that today, and we'll see what we can get done. I'll keep you updated as we go along, but at the minute I'm more interested in coffee and a fire. Well, it's really different looking out of the cabin at the this new garden room. Another thing to get used to, I guess. But already it is helping in terms of keeping the weather out of the cabin, the entranceway. It doesn't look like it now because everything's wet. But once I get it fully watertight and I get the floor sorted out, it's going to be quite nice in here. Got the fire going, just turned the kettle on. Struggling a bit this morning to take hold because the cloud level is so low, and there isn't actually any real wind to speak of to give it a bit of a draw, but I'm sure it'll be fine. If it wasn't for the weather, it would be a beautiful, peaceful morning, just listening to the birds tweeting away. But this weather this year has been absolutely crazy. Anyway, I'm going to get myself sorted out, see what plan I can come up with to try and at least finish this end off by the door here. It's just that trying to do featherboard in the wet is not great. If I put it up and it's wet, when I nail it in, as I've found in other little build projects, as soon as it dries out, it warps and starts to pull away. Anyway, enough of me waffling on. I'm going to have a little 5-minute think about what I can realistically achieve today, and I guess you'll just find out in the video clips that I put up through the day. Well, the fire's finally away, so I'm going to sit with my cup of coffee for 5 minutes. Rain's not giving up, but we might have a little cabin chat maybe, eh? What do you think? Well, I don't know if you can hear that, but the rain is just not giving up. At least I've got the fire lit and I've got a cup of coffee. But I'm not sure where else I can get done today. I was toying with the idea of painting some of those feather edge boards that I'm going to use to fill in some of the gaps on the garden room. It would be nice to have everything glass, but would it? These plastic sheets that I'm using instead of glass are much more durable in terms of, not durable, forgiving. You have seen in the video yesterday, it only takes one little small cock up and you've broken your glass in that nice new window. So plastic's better in that respect, it's much more forgiving. It'll not last as long because eventually the sun will start to break it down, but I should get, I don't know, a good 5 to 10 years out of these sheets, I would have thought. Apologies if I keep looking out there. It's just such a difference, seeing another structure taking shape. And already I can feel a difference. Normally I'm sat here with the door open, and especially this time of year, winter time of year, the prevailing wind, instead of coming from that side, southwest, and blowing across the polytunnel. I've got to be careful with that, my hands are filthy and I keep rubbing my nose. I'll end up with a black nose. This time of year the wind is northerly, so it comes against the back of the cabin and the entrance door. And even though that garden room's not fully weathertight yet, there is a marked difference in the amount of cold air that's coming through that door. So it's already doing its job, or one of its many jobs, by helping to protect this northern end of the cabin. Didn't really have a cabin chat planned. Sorry about this, I've got an itch. That's better. Bit scruffy, but better. Yeah, I hadn't planned really to do a cabin chat today. I was hoping to get cracking with the feather edge boards and get the door, the entranceway, fully weather tight. If the rain stops, I might still be able to do a bit of that. But at the minute, it's, I don't know whether you can hear it or not, it's coming down really heavy. I've just noticed actually, the new roof on the garden room, really pleased I got that done yesterday, and thank you Sean again for helping me out with that, because I wouldn't have been able to do that on my own yesterday. But I've already noticed, now that it's raining, the rain just running straight down and off the edge of the garden room. I'm going to have to get a water collection system up on that end of the cabin with another tank. There's always something, and this time of year now as well, we've gone into lockdown again. We're back to the scenario I had earlier in the year. Just checking on the fire and getting a little bit of smoke puffing back because the door's open. That's close. Yeah, we're back to the same old scenario of it being difficult to get materials again because non-essential food type stores are all closed. So we've got a month of this to go, which doesn't help me with my little projects. One thing that is worth mentioning, I'm going to have to raise my voice a bit because the noise of the rain on the roof is drowning me out. One thing I have noticed yesterday and on reflection again today, which is more prepper related, and I have kind of touched on this in previous videos. I said that had I not had help yesterday, I wouldn't have been able to achieve what I did. It kind of underlines the point about, in a something hit the fan scenario, any kind of perceptions you might have of just being able to go out on your own and carry on business as usual. Clearly that isn't the case. You are going to need a little group of like-minded people to provide support, irrespective of whether that's construction type projects as we were yesterday, or general work around the bug out location, the homestead, whatever you want to call it. Things like chopping wood for the fire, gathering, collecting wood for the fire, working on your self-sufficiency garden, security in particular, collecting water if you don't have a rainwater harvesting system. All of these things absolutely need to be done, and will absolutely need more than one person to do that, especially security, because you have to sleep at some point, and while you're asleep you can't keep an eye on what's going on around, let alone fend off the invading hordes. So yeah, it is worth just reminding everybody about that point, about needing a support group around you, and as I did mention in a video not too long ago, choosing wisely when it comes to the people that are around you, because you are going to have to trust those people an awful lot if you're going to be able to sustain yourselves going forward. So in terms of today's video, it might be a very short video given the weather. I can certainly do a little bit of touch-up painting. There's some more infill work to be done on the framing in some areas. I don't have the big wood that I really need to be able to complete the framing in the area around the back by the tractor garage, but I do have enough pieces left if this bloody rain will stop, certainly to finish off the entrance door and the back wall where that window is. But as I said when I walked onto the land this morning, I am a little bit nervous about just having one side open, because if the wind picks up, just like the polytunnel, having one entrance open and the rest closed, it just encourages the wind to come inside, and it'll try and find a way out, and the only way out will be taking out the roof or one of the walls. So I am a bit nervous about enclosing the other two walls. We'll see how we get on. I can sit here as long as I like, really, just pottering about. Not very entertaining for you guys watching, but I can certainly spend a few hours just waiting to see what does happen with this rain, and if necessary, in the polytunnel, painting some of the feather edge board ready for when the weather does allow me to put it up. I could even measure up and cut the board in. Though I am a little bit reluctant to do that, because you'll have seen I do kind of tend to make it up as I go along. There isn't a schematic engineer's drawing of this garden room. I know there's probably some of you might well comment to tell me that there should be, but at the end of the day I'm not an engineer. And all of my doodles that I have tried to lay out stuff before and measure it, when it comes to cutting wood and hammering nails, it quickly becomes apparent how poor my engineering planning skills are. So in reality, I just do what we did yesterday. Sit and have a think and a ponder over a cup of coffee, go out, do a bit, stand back, have a look, have another think or ponder with a coffee, and make the person go along. And it's worked so far, to be fair. There are things I would do differently were I starting over again. In fact, there's a lot of things I would do differently were I starting over and doing it again. But at the end of the day, considering what I have done over the past year in terms of the original cabin build, this extension build, the tractor garage, it works, it does what it's supposed to do. And it does have its failings, particularly the tractor garage, but it does work. I am sat in here out of what is really quite heavy rain with a fire on. I've got electric, I've got lights, I've got heat, I've got cooking facilities, I've got water on tap, I've got hot water on tap, and we'll soon have a little garden room. So it does work. It's just perhaps not as finessed as some people's projects might be. But it is all valuable experience, and I'd rather do this now and learn what I've learned this past year rather than trying to go out and start from scratch with no knowledge if something big were to hit the fan. I'm quite confident that I could move onto the cabin and the land in a major crisis, grid down scenario, and be able to survive. And with the gardening skills I'm picking up along the way, I don't think I'm far off having the knowledge and capability to be self-sustaining for quite prolonged periods. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to finish this coffee off and then have a little think about what I need to do next. I will keep you updated, but forgive me, this might well be a short video today. We'll see what happens with the weather. Whatever you're doing, stay safe, particularly those of you in the US. It's a testing time right now with the election. I'm hoping that people don't go crazy. Let's just take a deep breath, pause, see how things go, and hopefully it's not the end of the world as we know it. So yeah, stay safe, and we'll see you all there. That was harder than it needed to be with that bloody great knot in there. Hey ho. You might remember from previous construction videos, whether that's the cabin or the polytunnel, I've put these 1.5 metre metal stakes. There's another one over here that I'm going to throw in. I'm just really anchoring that far cabin wall down just to provide a little bit of reassurance. The framing itself I'm content with, but I'm just worried about kind of lateral pressure, and to try and stop the frame moving, I figure if I just anchor down this far end with a couple of these spikes, I don't honestly think it would move, but you never know. There is a fairly big gable wall there, and if it was kind of pushing that way, or indeed coming back this other way, those two anchors will definitely stop it moving anyway, because you have to remember that it's just sitting on this breeze block foundation. It hasn't got a proper home style dug in and concreted in foundation. Planning laws for sheds. It's not a permanent foundation, it can be moved. Yeah, so I just want to give myself a bit of reassurance that that's not going to go anywhere if we do get any high winds. Over engineering, I think, is the term they use. I'm just putting in a few of these extra infill supports as well. I'll probably do another couple on this top roof line. There's another support to go in somewhere here. Look at the state of my hands. Somewhere in here for a third sheet. And then a little bit of infill featherboard, but it doesn't know what it's doing. It really doesn't. The fog is gradually lifting, but it hammered it down for quite some time. So I physically couldn't get out and into the field and do anything. I'm kind of crossing my fingers, hoping that that's the rain done, but I don't know. Sod's Law says as soon as I come outside and start featherboarding, the skies will open again. So I don't know. I'm pottering it at the minute and just seeing what happens with the weather. I guess you'll find out a bit later in the video whether it did or it didn't pay off, just sitting waiting. That was a bit noisy. Time for the hammer. Might seem like an easy job, but it isn't. Well, that's those two stakes put through. Might be a bit of overkill, but it just gives me a little bit more reassurance that the framing's going to be able to take whatever the winter weather chucks at us. And I suspect this year it might be quite a lot. So I'll just carry on pottering around, putting these extra infill timbers in. I'm really at the mercy of the weather, I really am. As soon as I step out of here it starts raining. But onward and upward, it's progress. Might be a bit slow, but it is progress. Well, gradually getting a bit more framing put in, and I've got framing in for the extra plastic sheet on that side by the door. It's only just loose fit at the minute. I need to screw it in. Top one's in, but I need to screw this one in. just fiddly, time consuming, trying to make sure you get all the levels right. And this weather's not helping. But it is still progress, which is all that counts. I've just been running around. I've got that last sheet on this side and I've just been running around putting some extra fastenings in. You never know. I'd rather put too many in than not enough. So it's nice and sturdy, it's not going anywhere. Did make a schoolboy error though. I do make quite a few of them. I put that new sheet in, but I've not put a cross beam over, an infill brace, as the other two panels have. Should have done that before I put the sheet in. However, we have a solution. I've cut a piece of 3x2, I've painted one side, and I can now pop that in and screw it through and then paint the other side. That door looks a bit odd, and as does that window, since it's not green, but that's a job for a quiet weekend, not when I'm trying to manically get stuff done in between the rain showers. Well, we are gradually making progress despite the weather. It is shocking, but I did want to just finish off alongside that door there, so that's done. I don't know, it's getting on now. I don't know if I'll get the top done or not. I don't know if I want to do the top or not. We'll see, I guess, in a minute. Well, this is about the only thing I can do now is paint inside the polytunnel, because the rain just won't stop. But at least it'll get me ahead when I come back down next time. So it is progress. Not quite construction, but it is therapeutic nonetheless, and it makes me feel like I'm achieving something. And I can't control the weather, so I just have to man up and suck it in. This might take a bit of time. Because there are a few of them, but steady away and we'll get there. Well, that's a few of those feather edge boards painted up. I haven't really got space to do any more, and time is passing by. It's amazing how quick the day goes. Even though I'm doing sort of little jobs, not major construction type stuff, it is taking forever. But having said that, we have made some progress. Framing's a lot firmed up now. Extra infills. That top bit's ready to take the feather edge board, and of course I've done round by the door. So this side is not far off being done, and similarly, now I've painted those boards up, those boards will fill this back up as well, which just leaves me the big side near the tractor garage, which loads of rubbish about, which obviously needs framing, but I don't have the wood for that, and it's not come today. Not to worry though, there's always the next weekend. We're not far off now. One more weekend should kill this and we'll be done. Anyway, time is flying by. I'm going to have to get myself tidied up in the cabin. It's like a disaster zone in there. And it's not far off time for dinner. And I have to say, I am hungry. I've had hardly any coffee at all today and nothing to eat. So I'm going to get tidied up. Well, that's the cabin locked up. Everything's put away. There's a few bits of wood and plastic in the garden room, but that can sit there. It's sheltered enough in there. Polytunnel's locked up. Everything's put away. The day's just whizzed by. It's been a shame I couldn't do more, but the weather being what it was, I can't. And I'm just about worn out anyway. So off home. That's another day and another weekend done. The weekends just aren't long enough. I need more than 2 days for a weekend. Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. How's the garden room looking? It's been a miserable old day today. Didn't quite get what I wanted done, but it is progress nonetheless, which is all that matters. Do let me know what you think in the comment section below, but for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.